You are a spiritual being in physical form, a dichotomy of light and dark, where energy equals mass on a journey designed to fulfill our personal legend and purpose, to use humanity throughout, to amplify and transcend, slay the ego, raise the humanity. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the High Vibe Zone. Hey, y'all. Hey. Welcome to the High Vibe Zone. I'm super excited for this day. Last week I did not do the High Vibe Zone, was not feeling it. Yes, last week. But today, this week, this is how life changes. Life is not linear. So I'm super excited to be here with y'all. Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome to the High Vibe Zone, where we talk about topics and things that transcend us into higher vibration, no matter what it is. And if this is, if you're returning to the High Vibe Zone, welcome back. I have an amazing, amazing guest I'm going to bring on in a second. I'm super excited to have this conversation today. This guest, if you have been with us for a while, you might have remembered her from March, and bringing her back. We're going to have such a fantastic conversation. But go ahead and let me know that you're watching. Drop your name in the comments and let me know what you are grateful for. I'm really excited to just dive into the conversation. And so my guest today, the last time she was on the High Vibe Zone was like it was our second conversation. Our first conversation, I just knew I needed to talk more to her. And then we got in the High Vibe Zone and we just vibed out, y'all. So I am going to introduce y'all to this amazing, amazing human, Sparkle Lindsay. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, oh my God. The High Vibe Zone. I loved the intro, by the way. I just had to say it. I was like, get it.
Did you used to watch The Twilight Zone?
I did.
So you got it.
That's why I was like,
yes.
Squares getting it right now.
Yeah, I love The Twilight Zone. I also loved, I'm not too much of a Star Wars fan, but I do love the intro of Star Wars.
Yeah, that was really smooth. The whole, and then the mix at the end too. So, it just had your whole vibe.
Thank you. Well, you are in the High Vibe Zone. Sparkle, I am so grateful that you are here. I mean, we haven't talked probably since the last time you were on here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's been a while, but you have been up to some things. But before we get into what you've been up to, I usually start with like the encouraging card of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have those in front of me, but I have been writing a bunch of quotes down. Mm-hmm. And I thought that it would be nice to talk about a quote and just kind of use that as our encouraging card of the day. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
All right. So this is the one, I guess, that sticks out. Okay, let's see. Let's do this one. Instincts know so much more than intellect, and intuition is smarter than reason. What is that? Instinct knows so much more than intellect, and intuition is smarter than reason. What does that feel like for you?
Clarity. My first time my eyes were open and I could see was when I no longer was using drugs and alcohol, and the clarity slapped me in the forehead. And I was like, has that always been there? And my intuition was like, yes, it has. Thank you. You have stepped into the quantum realm.
There you go.
I was with my warrior stuff on too, talking about, I don't even need no warrior stuff. I got my higher power behind me. I must jump in his lap and this is the time to go.
This is
it. Was like right there. And I knew it. Tears of joy hit me. That's what that means to me.
That's amazing. I love that. And, when it talks about instinct knows more than intellect. Like that's a sign that our being already knows.
Yes.
We are fully, we already come, you know, those, you remember those, biscuits that already came, you know, ready. All you got to is our intuition, is that gut, that second brain, that that space that you can't quantify. You know, so I love what you said, and you're like, hey, clarity. That is a beautiful way to phrase up that. So nice.
Immediately, my instinct was like, clarity. We've been doing it for 2 years and 4 months now, so get with it. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I love that. Where is my? I got these little emojis that I like to use now because I'm just like, there it is. I love that. So 2 years and how many months you said?
2 years and 4 months sober. I think before I met you, May 4th was my 2-year date.
Yeah.
So on October 4th, I will be 2 years and 5 months. So almost 2.5 years sober here. Yeah.
That's amazing. How's it feel?
The clarity. I'm not playing. Every day there's something else that sticks out to me, and it's just a blessing. It's a blessing that I've been able to step into these layers of compassion and understanding. I mean, from March just till now, the levels of understanding, patience, and compassion for myself, I have found, has been explosive.
Wow.
And having the vision and being able to create and just be me has just been amazing. And I'm so grateful for it, especially with the second chance at it, you know?
Yeah, man, that's huge. So, okay, we haven't talked since March.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? Because I don't know. I can't remember how, but I was like telling Maria, I was like, got to talk to Sparkle. Yeah. And so I know you were telling me a little bit backstage. I was like, whoa, hold it. I want to hear it in like real time right here. What have you been up to these last few months?
Well, I've been up to, I made so I started making YouTube videos when I was with you. I started having these inklings, these intuition to speak. You had hit me when I was just really getting on camera, talking, and just feeling like this is my calling, you know? And then I had all my clients, because like I'm a nationally certified recovery coach for alcohol and addiction, and also other elements of addiction. And my niche is helping leaders out of the depths of addiction. Okay. So with that comes so many different avenues. I'm now a trainer of recovery coaches as well. So I had a website I was holding on to for perfection, and it finally blew up. So that was great. And I had so many clients that they kept asking me the same questions, and I had downloads. I had some downloads at night, and I said, I'm going to write. I was writing down just some notes for my clients, just some tips and tricks.
Right.
And I started writing it, and I was like, man, these are tips that I do to being a better me for me. Wait, what? This is a book. That's exactly what I did. I said, this is a book, and the whole night I finished each of them, put all my quotes down. I have 854 quotes. That is the amount of days I've been sober. I started them, and they're out. Yeah, my motivational quotes are everywhere. So that right there was like, I'm writing this. So I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a mini pocket guide. So you can put it in your back pocket. You can take it everywhere you need to go. And you use those tips and tricks to help you becoming a better you for you. It is a very self-reflective book that's 28 pages long, but it helps you have a little bit of sunshine each day. And so I was like, this is great. I'm going to put it out. Being a better me for me. It's on Amazon, but how am I going to do the cover?
Yeah.
So I'm like in my quantum Reiki mode. My father is a quantum Reiki master. Okay. So he does D5 quantum, and I'm sitting there and I'm envisioning butterfly, you know, and I have the butterfly for transformation, right? So then I'm like, oh, but this color purple is getting me, and the color blue. And I dream in black and white. And so the way that my enlightenment started during my, recovery was I had a dream in black and white, and the first piece of color I ever seen was May 4th, because I went in May 3rd, was sober May 4th, 2019, was electric blue butterflies. So I said, well, I might as well go on ahead and invite everybody into my dream. So I made my background all black and white with nothing but the butterflies signifying each color of my enlightenment for the first 2 weeks.
Wow.
Variety. All that came through my quantum. Girl, you don't even know.
I need to see this. Okay, where do I find this so I can pull it up real quick?
On Amazon.
Okay.
Being a Better Me for Me, and then Sparkle Lindsay.
I need to see this. That is so, isn't that amazing how things like that work?
It flowed. And when I told him, because my dad was doing it, and I said, I know how I'm going to do it. And he's like, just keep coming with it. Just keep coming with your visions, girl. He's holding it for me. You know, his guides are holding it, my guides are holding it, and it's getting wild in there. Like there's lights and electricity and everything happening. And I'm like, I got the book cover, Dad. I got it.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna share it right now. Let's see if we can pull this up.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's being a better me for me. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
And so there's my logo. So I also at that time was still, when I was working with you, trying to figure out the logo. Yeah. So I made it a phoenix holding up sparkle with the light at the end of the tunnel in the back.
Yes.
And I believe that is my favorite bird, Phoenix rising. Wow. And I wanted to hold up sparkle because one day I would like to name my child, if I ever have one, Phoenix. So every piece of what I've done has been a portion of who I am and this freaking journey I love so much. And I am just so inspired by how many people have read it and they're like, it's so not simple, but it is so cool because each day you get to self-reflect on who you want to be, where you want to be, what makes you that better you for you daily. And you get to sit with yourself every day and love yourself, love up on yourself. So I got to do that with that book. I just was like, this is bringing tears. So June 1st, I just was like, I wrote a book. I wrote a book. And so the workbook will be out with it next.
Nice.
It comes out in 3 years. I think in a month here, we'll have it out. Okay. And people can also do it with my workshop. So girl,
well, I'm going to definitely support not only you, but the book and the process and what you're doing. And I have a family member that is a recovering addict. I think she's been, it's been some years now, and I know her journey. And so I'm going to actually get one for her too, because, it doesn't end, like it's, it's almost, some people are like, oh, you're in recovery. Great. No, it's like a lifelong process.
And another lady was asking me, she goes, Sparkle, what level does someone have to be in recovery? I said, oh, no. I wrote it for people in general and their transformation. I said, kids can have this. I said, if children actually were able to self-reflect with this, they would not be worried about their emotions as much. Suppressing our emotions. Right. Instead, they would say how they feel. They would give themselves positive affirmations. They would have these careers, these goals already because it's been implemented in them at a young age.
Right.
So with it, it's like something so simple that you take with you for one day. And it's like, whoa, that was powerful. What do I deserve to be? What do I intend to be? Yeah. What am I capable of?
Yeah.
Those questions. We may say the affirmations, but when we take it a step further, throw it into existence, it's inevitable. It happens.
It happens.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of a small notebook with quotes. Reminds me of Florence. Yep. Or a notebook with quotes and stories. Yeah. And we got the link here in the comments. Go ahead and definitely support. Get the book. You can never have too much encouragement and too much wisdom around you.
Oh no.
So, last night I was talking to someone and we were talking about the topic of healing. Mm-hmm. And I was saying that some people you know, some people tell from the wound, and some people tell stories from the scar, and you tell the story from the scar because you can tell that there's been this healing that is happening and because it's a different vibe. You know what I mean? Like for you to be talking in the way that you are, like you're speaking from, I've done this healing work.
Yes.
So I know, and while not everyone is linear, there are nuggets that you can take from each person's journey because the healing process is almost very similar in all and it might look different depending on what is being healed, but it's actually very similar. You know, if you have a wound, the way that you heal it is that's how you know when it's, you know, healing.
And for me, the learning and accepting the gift of multiple pathways to transformation, that has been wild for me. The multiple pathways to transformation, multiple pathways to my recovery. I have had a village of sober warriors uniting. And I will always say that on the back of my shirts, it says sober warriors unite. And one of the reasons why is because there's this feeling that we all have, people who have, or you are going through right now, this transformation in real time, like it's for real life happening in the moment. Every second, it hits different.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like every piece that I have now learned to be in the conscious mind, not the subconscious.
There we go.
Every piece is like, are you freaking kidding me? And I have the clarity to see it.
Yes.
It's on the crack.
It's a sweet realization when you and when you talk about, and I love how you mentioned addiction on every level, because there are so many facets of addiction. Most of the time when someone hears addiction, they think of drugs or alcohol. That's the most common that they hear. There's food, there's sex, there's toxic environments, there's work addiction, there's self-deprecate, like all of these different levels of addiction that happen. And I love how what you've written, again, that's the difference from writing from the wound versus telling the story from the scar. You're able to transcend not just the topic of this is how you get out of it, but it goes into, it doesn't matter who's going through what. If you're going through an addiction, this is for you.
Yes.
And that's how you become liberated. And that's going in, because when you think of the subconscious mind, it's very close to the daily awareness, which daily awareness is what the animals have.
Yes.
So squirrels out there, if you live in the different seasons, you see the animals out there, they are the ants, daily awareness. They are gathering. And, they live in that space. And a lot of people that are, and I would imagine addiction is almost like a daily awareness because you're just trying to survive.
Yes, because first things first, the reason why I wrote the book is because I want to challenge people out there to figure out what's underneath the symptom, figure out what's underneath your addiction. Let's take the Band-Aid off and let's get real with it. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because if I wouldn't have or hadn't taken the Band-Aid off, I'd be walking around surface level, unaware of things, and there would be no clarity and possible reoccurrence of alcohol and addiction. The fact that I've had to sit in my emotions, the fact that I have had to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable is why that book was written the way it is. I am challenging you to sit with yourself in your own shit and say, what am I going to do to fix this? It's mine and mine to keep, and only mine to release and relinquish that control. And in order to do that, we have to first self-reflect on what we are doing and how we're taking a part in our lives, right?
Yeah.
That part for me has been like, ooh, I do that. Wait, I did that. Wait a minute. Let me figure out why I do this. And let me fall in love with myself more and more every day, understanding it so that I can give that out to others and find the same compassion for myself I can for others. That is the work through the conscious mind and focusing on the things and having the courage to change the things you can with yourself.
There it is. I think
you yourself, girl. It's uncomfortable, but
I have that quote in here, I think, somewhere.
It becomes easy.
It's, you know, it's so true, and it works if you work it.
Yep, that's it.
And you know, it's like, oh, why isn't this working? It's like, well, because you're not working it. And it is in the simplicity and the clarity. It's not this complex. The stuff that we're doing is the complicated component. Right. This is the simple stuff. This is where we bring it in. Hey.
Hi.
Love it. I love it. I'm loving that you're enjoying these.
She said, yeah.
Yes. Happy first day. Yes. Happy fall.
Hello, autumn. That's what my sister would say.
Yes. But when you were talking, this quote, I had to look it up. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone
and do absolutely nothing. My favorite quote ever written was, when you don't know what to do, sit still and do absolutely nothing. Thank you, Oprah Winfrey. Because as far as I'm concerned, when I heard that, I had just gotten out of a therapy session. And my therapist said, so my challenge for you is to go home and do nothing. And I was like, oh no. I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to. She said, oh, and you're just doing all that to distract yourself from yourself? Well, let me know when you're doing absolutely nothing. Right. Send me a picture. And I was like, this is awful. Soon as I've practiced it, the things you hear, yes, the stuff you feel, yes. You're just like, I could be in this forever.
It's amazing. It's an amazing. I remember the first time I tried this, I set a timer. I was on a solo retreat. So I was by myself. I set a timer for 20 minutes and I said, I'm going to sit here and do nothing for 20 minutes, but like breathe. Yeah. And just breathe. And I'm not even going to focus on breathing right. I'm just going to sit. Mm-hmm. And it was very uncomfortable. It was, I had to keep bringing myself back to like, no, I don't need it. There was nothing I needed to do. There was no one else around me, no one I needed to take care of. And it really was that distraction because we live with ourselves for the rest of our lives. Mm-hmm. You know, when we think of a relationship, think of a partner or a spouse, you are spending time to get to know them. Yeah. You spend a lot of investment time. You think of a relationship that might have ended, how much time you spent. That's how much time and plus you should be spending with yourself and knowing why do I go to French fries? Mm-hmm. What is going, or why do I go to this? Or why am I seeking? Right. And sometimes we don't want to hear the answers because that means change and transition is right around the corner. And as you and I are very familiar with, the change, okay. The transition, we don't like that very much. No. We would do whatever we could to avoid that transition, okay? Because it is not the fun part. But after the transition, the birth comes.
Yes. And then you're like, I waited all that time to transform. What in the timing?
You find, but you know what's great? I will say this, and I'm sure that you have very similar awe moments, is I used to dwell in, oh my gosh, look how much time it took for me to get to here. But now I'm so grateful for the time it took for me to get here, because then it's made the resilience so much better than, you know, something that was created overnight. You know, that instant motivation, that instant coffee isn't as good as that slow drip.
Mm-mm. And that's the reason why I stopped using the word goals.
Okay, talk to me about that.
I love using the word intentions.
Yes.
Intentions are becoming of me. They are what I transpire to be. So I want it to be what I do on a regular basis. I don't want it to be like, we made the goal, now what?
You're right.
That is exactly when we talk about the slow drip versus the instant coffee, right? When you have the slow drip, your body starts to get used to the new way you are intending to be, not we gonna be here and then that's it.
Right.
Because in this journey of addiction, period, in journey of transformation, in order to see a full mind, body, and spirit change, it takes a slow drip.
It does.
And it takes the time in the moment to enjoy every bit of it, because that's when you're living. You're allowing life to live you.
Yes.
Now you're just being. And that right
Right.
there tells you we can't pull and push against the universe. You know, we
No.
say this all the time. But what we can do is allow life to do what it's going to do. Mother Earth is going to handle her stuff. But if we focus on what's right in front of us, we embrace it. We're grateful for it. We're understanding of it. We look at it, you know, examine it. That's what we're here for. So like you said, with the partner piece, how are you going to tell your partner what you want if you don't know what you want yourself?
Bingo.
Because now we're getting real. Like if you can't ask your partner how they're feeling on a regular basis and you immediately are just assuming something, take a step back and ask yourself, have you practiced active listening lately?
Right.
Because a lot of the things that, or a lot of the reasons why we don't have our partners sometimes anymore is because we haven't taken those simple steps to slow down, listen, have a clear, concise communication with someone and say, I'm not feeling too well either, or I'm feeling great. I'm feeling vibrant. Use feeling words. Express how you truly feel so a person can get to know what's really going down.
Yeah.
We don't need to be surface level with the people we love, and nor should we be surface level with us first and foremost.
Bingo.
Don't be acting fake to yourself. Don't show up. Don't be doing that.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Walking around fake to yourself. You don't want to do that.
No, you don't. You know, you bring up something that last night I had a moment. I was getting frustrated and I was sitting in the car. I forgot what I had just picked up my son. And sometimes I just sit in the car and the kids know mama's in the car just sitting. So, you know, so I'm like, towards the end of the day, I'm sitting in the car. And I'm texting my husband and I'm just like, I don't think I'm doing too well right now. And I'm just like, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this. And he comes out and sits with me for a moment. And he says a couple things to me, not very much, listens. We go inside. And I'm starting to feel a little bit better, but still just trying to work through it. Throw on an episode of Star Trek, chilling, and then we start to clean up the kitchen. And he tells me this story of this video he watched. I don't even know what it's called, but how he described it to me was it's called like Windows or something. And it was this family living in an apartment building. And across from them was this couple that lived in an apartment building. And they would always keep their window open or their blinds up, and they would watch the couple having fun and house parties and just being vibrant and loving on each other. And like the family would just watch the couple, and you know, they'd have the kids running around and all of these different things. And you know, they'd watch them have dinner parties, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Right.
And then they noticed that the couple had a doctor come by, and the husband started to get bedridden, and all of a sudden like the ambulance came, and then the woman with the kids went down and met the other woman, and she kind of like said, you know, we've been watching, you know, you all for a while. And the woman's whose husband had passed away, she says, you know, we couldn't have kids and we used to watch you all too. And like, I realized in that moment, the things that I was focusing on were so insignificant to the grand operation of God and the universe. And it just, and I mean, you just, and that's, you know, that clarity that you're talking about, that's what enters you.
Yes.
When you just, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had somehow got wrapped up in some very specific things that were not in, that had got on the path, the trail.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the realization, because I sat with myself enough to know
Mm-hmm.
something's up. Then I
Right.
communicated it. And then he comes in with this beautiful story that just,
And due to your effective communication, he had exactly what the doctor ordered right then and there. And all you needed to do was walk up in that house and start cleaning the kitchen.
cleaning is my therapy, by the way. That is
He
my
said,
therapy.
"Here, do some dishes because you about to learn something today."
Perspective, yes.
Yes.
You think about it. And I remember when I was going through the beginning of my journey of just breaking more of the just, I don't even know what I would call it, but on my spiritual journey, it was every moment is a moment that one day I'll wish I could go back to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So honor this moment here.
Mm-hmm.
And be in this space, because that's where the sweet stuff is. Like you're saying, that's why the goal and intention, it's like that intention is really the steps in which that journey, the goal is like, oh, I want to get there. Good. Yes. But
shoot, by the time you get to the intention piece, you look up and you're like this. I just wrote a book.
right.
Wait a minute.
And you have a website. Yes.
I just put up a website. And in your head, the whole time, I've just been like, oh, this feels good. And this feels good. And then I've been hearing all these lived experiences and I've been walking along this journey. And then I feel like I'm like on the Wizard of Oz and I'm like, hey, you need a brain? Come with me.
Yes. You need a heart.
Yeah.
You need courage.
Heart. You need
courage. Okay. Can we got that movie.
It's off the chain.
It's a very, and you know what I think now that I look back on it, she went into another dimension in order to find those things.
Yes. She went into the quantum realm to find her clarity.
And then saved a few people along the way.
Exactly, because she needed a village to make it happen.
Oh, so what else? I gotta shout this out. Yes.
Oh yeah, he's a keeper.
Yes, I'm gonna let him know that he is definitely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What else has transpired for you, or what do you see that is next for you, or that's the intention for you, and putting that out there? We're at the latter half of this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is when a lot of people sit and reflect and look at back and like, what have I done? What am I doing? And so what is that next level for you, Sparkle, as you are one of the, like, from the moment that I spoke to you to the second conversation, you are your name in so many ways.
Thank you.
And then you are so much more than your name in so many ways, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are able to cross space and time with some of the things that you have been through. And it's just, again, you tell the story from the scar, not the wound.
Yeah.
And that is just so amazing. So what is next for you and what you're doing?
Well, that gave me tears. So thank you. I think it's not every day that, actually it is every day to hear somebody say something great to you and tell you to accept your greatness, is a hard thing to take on. And so I've been really working on being in the void and tears of joy, sitting in them, being comfortable with being uncomfortable in happiness.
Yeah.
And feels like I'm going down this roller coaster ride, right? And I'm like, I don't know if we should do this because, well, never mind. We already down. What did they? I have been just like, okay, next thing. And so Jason Tracy is my solopreneur coach. And he goes, Sparkle, are you ready to go out and are you ready to speak live? Are you ready to do it in person? And I said, I'm ready. And he said, okay, well, then we're bringing the live show to Brighton, Michigan, October 14th. And that's going to be your first live show. So we put everything up. Everything's up and ready to go. And it'll be my first time on stage. So today I was sitting there and I was talking to him. And so this is the thing. Now I want to start motivational speaking more often. I want to be able to speak. I want to talk. I want to let people feel what I'm feeling and channel through speaking what people need to hear. I want to continue the energy that I hold through quantum Reiki and the energy that is starting to expand through my gifts intuitively, empathically, and so forth. I want people to know that we are light workers and there are things out there that have to be done. So with that, I also know I need to remember I have a village, but I also need to remember that it's time to raise a village. And all this stuff I've been going through, I'm ready to teach and train and help people go out there and be a force to be reckoned with. And that is where I'm at right now. Whereas I can get out there speaking and let people know that it is inevitable, we will do it. We will do it together. And we will unite. So that is my goal for 2021, the end of it, all the way in 2022. But one of the biggest things is I was trying to figure out what song I wanted to come into. And to this morning, I was sitting there and I was like, every time I get ready to talk to somebody, hey, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Every time I get ready to talk to somebody, Mariah Carey's Make It Happen comes on. And before I get out of the car to talk to anybody, I go into make it happen mode. Okay.
Okay.
But then I said, how do I want to end it? And I said, I want to end it with the song, This Is Me by The Greatest Showman. Before I got on here, I wrote Jason and I said, you've got to hear this song because it reminds me of my vitiligo. It reminds me of me as a Black person. It reminds me of being held and suppressed to my ideas, my thoughts, but this is me. This is who I am. And stigmas and labels and calling each other names and everything else. And a portion of my speech is going to be on stigmas and labels. So then Jason kept saying to me, he says, do you know how cool this is going to be when you get done singing? You walk out of the room and everybody's standing up, jamming, saying, this is me. And I said, this is the song. We're doing it. He goes, are you envisioning it? This is all while I'm on this call with you right now.
Nice.
Stop. This is awesome.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing. And have a coach too that's like, Sparkle, we're doing it, and I think when you find your fit, you find the person that's like, you believe in it, let's make it happen. Right. I'm going to be there to support you. And it's also helping him. He's a recovery coach in his own way. That's amazing. Together we're growing. And I think it's just going to be amazing. So speaking engagements, training, bringing up that website, helping people know that there's help out there, the right resources, getting that base solid. Okay. Because now as I'm working this business, right, I can't overdo too much, but I can start creating the base, the meat and the potatoes to last forever. I'm building a legacy. That is what my father asked me. What is my legacy? That's what I'm building. So at this point, every moment is an intention, not a goal. It just is a becoming of who I am ready and inspiring myself to be,
Oh my goodness.
Be real cool, girl.
I am here for it. I am energetically just there and all in alignment with everything that you said. And so it is, and so it shall be.
Yes.
That is amazing.
In existence.
And shout out to people like Jason. That's huge.
Yes.
That's so huge to have your village or your tribe behind you. That's really in that energetic alignment as well.
Yes. People along the way, like Michael Paterano, yourself, Felicia. I mean, it was just 6 or 7 months ago that I met Michael, February 14th, 5 days after my 36th birthday. And I met all of you guys along the way after. So it has been wild to not only look at the light workers that have came along in my tribe, but the fact that we come back 6 months later and we're still vibing, right?
We're still vibing in the high vibe zone. Like this is phenomenal. You are phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
I am just in awe and thoroughly grateful. And yes, thank you for being with us here in the high vibe zone. Yes, we never really know how these things are going to go. But we do though. We do know. Yes. We have a sense. We know it's going to be high vibe.
We know it's going to be magical and high vibe. But we're like, is there going to be magic? Well, okay. Well, who cares?
We're just going to show up. And I really
let it roll. Let it roll, right?
Let it roll. So I want to end with this. I would love for people, I think I have your contact somewhere. Yes. So I'd love for you, if you're watching this inspired by Sparkle, reach out to her. Yeah. Definitely follow what she is up to, because it is some big things going down. And so I've been thoroughly touched and moved by our conversation today. And so I'd love to give you just the last, how would you like to close this out before I send everyone out with a blessing and the super sick intro outro? Okay. And we'll just go from there. So please, you have the rest of the time.
Well, first things first, I just want to say, if you are hurting, if there is something you need, do not hesitate to hit up any of my DMs. Obviously, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, big time. And if it's something like you need to call the crisis hotline, please call the crisis hotline to help yourself. Choose yourself first so that you can help others. I say one of the greatest gifts we can have right now is the conscious mind. So if you need help getting there, I'm here and I'm along the way. But also read some books, self-help yourself. Do the best things you can. Go in on yourself and figure out where you fit in your puzzle. I think some of the greatest moments we have are when we get it, when we have the aha moments, when we know in our hearts that we are right where we need to be. And it feels electrifying. So if you haven't felt that yet, challenge yourself to find that in yourself so you can walk with your light and you can give light to others. I just want to say once again, Charisse, it's always good being on your show. You know, I'll come back anytime you need. And I appreciate you having me. I missed your face, even though I've been watching you all over LinkedIn. Thank you so much for spending that time with me. SparkleLindsay.com is the best way to look at all the things that are transpiring. Thank you guys again. And Charisse, thanks for holding space, girl. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for being my super special guest and everyone that has watched. Oh, go ahead.
And also, don't forget, Being a Better Me for Me is on Amazon. You can also buy my apparel, which is on the sportswear. It's actually on my website as well. But don't forget, if you guys have some people that are in Brighton, Michigan right now, and that are wanting to get some inspiration, Jason Tracy and myself will be throwing a live event October 14th, 6 to 8 p.m. So that'll be all over the internet as well. So if you know some people who could use a life empowerment event, tell them that's the place to go on October 14th.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I will be there in spirit. Thank you so much for being here with me as my guest and inspiration, and just the words that you've spoken today. Everyone that has watched, I just want to send you out with a blessing of light, love, and gratitude. May abundance and prosperity find you where you are at. Thank you so much for being here with us in the High Vibe Zone. Until next time, I'm Charisse Fonts, my amazing guest, Sparkle Lindsay. Have a beautiful rest of your day and week. You are a spiritual being in physical form, a dichotomy of light and dark, where energy equals mass on a journey designed to fulfill our personal legend and purpose, to use humanity throughout to amplify and transcend, slay the ego, raise the humanity. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the High Vibe Zone.